You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks with your host, Wendy.
And your co-host, Brent. As always, I'm hearing this case for the first time just like you. And take it away, Wendy. Let us know what the story is.
Okay. So today's true crime story is about 15-year-old Danielle Locklear of Hope Mills, North Carolina. Danielle was originally from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but she was living in Hope Mills, North Carolina at the time of her death. She lived with her grandparents and was very close with her aunt, who also lived in Hope Mills. She was a freshman at Southview High School. Danielle's mother described her as a firecracker. She was smart, friendly, and outgoing. She was also talented. She used to create videos. Danielle moved to Hope Mills during June of 2013. Now, after finishing her 2012-2013 school year in Myrtle Beach, she went to Hope Mills to spend the summer with her grandparents. While there, Danielle attended summer camp and also attended several church events with her family members. She made several new friends in Hope Mills and also began dating a 17-year-old named Jamichael Malloy. Danielle and Jamichael met through church, and her family members believed he was a kind and respectful young man. Danielle was reportedly very smitten with him. According to her aunt, Danielle would light up every time Jamichael was around. When the summer was coming to an end, Danielle asked her mother if she could stay in Hope Mills instead of returning to Myrtle Beach. She had become quite attached to all her new friends and her new boyfriend, so she wanted to make Hope Mills her permanent home. Danielle's family members decided to let her stay in Hope Mills, knowing that she was surrounded by several loving family members in the area.
Wait, so she lived in Myrtle Beach?
She originally lived in Myrtle Beach with her mom.
With her mom, okay. And her grandmother and other family members lived in Hope Mills?
In Hope Mills.
Okay.
She was enrolled in Cape Fear High School, where she participated in ROTC and got straight A's on her report card. Danielle's mother lived more than 2 hours away in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, that's quite a drive.
Yeah. However, by Christmas time in 2013, Danielle and her boyfriend, Jamichael, began going through a rough patch. They reportedly broke up around this time, but were back together a week later. This pattern of breaking up and getting back together continued throughout the next few months.
Fairly normal for high school anyway.
Yes, it is. The evening of March 11th, 2014, Danielle left to go visit a friend and has not been seen since. Okay, so before we go any further, we just want to mention we do have a store called Crystal Kiss.
CrystalKiss.com, Crystal spelled with a K.
That's correct. And we sell women's merch. We have hoodies, T-shirts.
Not just merch, true crime merch. So if you're into this genre, this is the store for you.
Exactly. We have hoodies, joggers, T-shirts, crop tops, and a hat.
Yep, and not shoes.
No, not shoes. So check it out. It has lots of different designs.
Yep, you can get a couple different colors. I think it's mostly white and black, but lots of different designs to choose from. So go in there and find something that kind of speaks to you, that matches your interest in the genre, and get yourself an outfit and let everybody else know, hey, I like true crime.
Exactly. If you use discount code MURDER15,
you get 15% off.
Yep, that's MURDER15. You get 15% off. That's correct.
And
free shipping in the U.S.
That's right.
So check it out.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll get back to the case. Danielle told her step-grandfather that her friend Alexis had asked her to drop off a textbook at her house. Alexis lived nearby, so they expected Danielle to be back shortly. Unfortunately, though, Danielle never returned home. Her worried family members reported her missing the following morning.
Just from returning a book, it's such an innocuous activity. Like, I'm just going to go to my friend's house and drop off a book. You don't even think twice about it, It's like all the stories people go out to like a grocery store. You always think it's going to be something high risk. You're always going to think it's like, she went to a party with, some of the stories we've done has been a girl going to a party with known drug dealers and like high risk kind of people where things like that you would almost not expect to happen, but you're not surprised to hear it happening.
Yeah.
But then there's also so many cases where somebody just like go to drop off a book at a store, or go to the store to get a pack of cigarettes, going to meet a friend at the movie theater and they never show up. It's just, there really is no such thing as safe. You have this feeling of safe in your day-to-day life, but you never know.
That's why I'm so paranoid. That's why if our kids want to go somewhere at night, we drive them. I'm not like letting you walk, even if it's around the corner at night to your friend's house, because I've heard stories of just a short walk, something happens between their house and, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
It's better to just get a ride.
I mean, the thing to keep in mind is that it's a very low percentage thing. Like, it's not like 1 in 5 girls are getting kidnapped.
No, of course not, but still.
On their way to somewhere. So, like, you don't have to live in constant paranoia. But when you hear about these stories, yeah, it does make you scared. Like, you know, because it could happen any time of day, anywhere. It's just random.
Yes, most definitely.
I mean, the target, the person choosing the target doesn't choose the target random necessarily. Serial killers might. But just the actual act of it happening is just, you just don't know.
No, you can't prepare yourself for that, no. So her mother received a call from her sister saying Danielle was missing. So her mother immediately grabbed some clothes and hit the road. According to her grandfather, the night Danielle disappeared, they were at home together. Then around 10 o'clock, she asked permission to leave the house.
She went to drop off a book at 10 p.m.?
At 10 o'clock. That's what I'm saying. I would have given her a ride. I wouldn't have let her walk.
Yeah, okay.
She told her grandfather that she was going to take a book to a friend's house. She said she was going to drop it off and come back, but she never returned.
Might have been a lie, too. She might not have been going to drop off a book. Because we're not privy to the conversation. Well, unless maybe we are. But we don't know if she said she was going to drop off the book. Maybe her grandfather offered her a ride and she turned it down because she actually was doing something else. But, yeah.
About an hour after she left, her grandfather called Danielle's phone, but there was no answer. When the police questioned the friend Danielle was supposed to be seeing, she said Danielle never arrived.
But she was expecting her, though. So she was going to drop off the book for real.
She didn't even know Danielle was going to her house.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, now the other penny has dropped.
Yes.
Or the other shoe has dropped, the penny is, whatever.
Something's dropped.
Something's dropping.
So Danielle's friends and family spread the word on social media. On March 13th, a few days after her disappearance, police got their first tip. According to Danielle's high school, she skipped school the day she went missing. Police interviewed Alexis, who told them that Danielle did not come over to her house that evening, but they had seen each other earlier that day at the creek, a local hangout within walking distance from her house. Alexis provided police with the pictures from their outing at the creek, which confirmed that they had been there during the daytime. Police surveyed the route from the school to the creek for cameras. They got access to a camera that showed Danielle walking with a group of people around her.
But why did they focus on the creek? She didn't go missing at the creek. She skipped school that day, met up with this friend at the, quote-unquote, the creek, but she did go home because her grandfather saw her at home. Because I guess in this case, maybe the grandfather is the last person that saw her alive, so I guess he's a suspect until they can rule him out.
Danielle's family was shocked to hear that she skipped school. Police decided to search the creek. Danielle's mother and her sister go there as well. Along the banks of the creek, police spot Danielle's shirt, a towel, and a sock that she only wore to bed at night. The Hope Mills Police Department then organized volunteer search parties and began combing the town in hopes of finding Danielle.
Okay, so she left at 10 o'clock to drop off a book. Mm-hmm. I guess she must have been wearing, like, her quote-unquote pajamas. Because it didn't really sound like pajamas, but I guess that's what she wore to bed. So, like, she wore her nightwear like pajamas to return the book. And then they found it by the creek. Her clothes. Some of the clothes.
That's what it sounds like. They found her shirt, a towel, and a sock.
Okay.
Sock that she only wore to bed.
Okay.
So lots of people volunteered to go out and look for her. Missing person billboards and flyers were also put up around the area. But despite their best efforts, they were unable to locate Danielle Locklear or find any information about her whereabouts. One of the people out looking for Danielle was her boyfriend, Jermichael Malloy. They would go to church on Sundays and started talking. They dated even though they attended different high schools. She was happy with him.
But even in Hope Mills, they attended different high schools?
She moved to Hope Mills that summer. That's where she met him, but I guess they went to different high schools at that time.
In Hope Mills.
Yeah. He seemed concerned about her disappearance, and he seemed like a good kid. He had good grades and wanted to go to the military. He went to the police voluntarily to speak with them.
How do you say your first name?
Jermichael.
Jermichael.
Yes, sir.
So you broke up with her?
Right.
Okay. Is it face to face or what?
Over the phone.
Over the phone. Okay. You called her and you broke up with her?
Yes, sir.
How did you feel about Danielle?
I mean, at first, it was love, amazing. And then eventually...
Like, just love at first sight kind of thing?
And eventually, spark dies down, and we just grew apart. I mean, I still love her. I mean, she was a good girl. And,
Sounds like everything I tell her sounds like she's a great person.
She ran away before.
She has run away before.
Yeah, but her mom found her. This was like...
In South Carolina or in North Carolina?
South Carolina.
If she's run away now, where do you think she went to?
Close friend. the only thing I can think of would be like a friend, but her closest
She
person.
got no money, right?
Right. Her closest person I can think about would be her Aunt Tenny, but she lives in South Carolina with her nana, so.
So basically from 12 noon on Tuesday till 10ish on Wednesday,
Right.
you're at your house.
Right.
Your phone dad is not going to show anything other than that.
Right.
And we talked to who did Dominic? What's Dominic's name?
Dominic Locke.
Locke?
Yes,
Is
sir.
he a Cape Fear dude?
Yes, sir.
So he gonna vouch. What time did he leave?
He went to school with me.
He spent the night with you.
Yes, sir.
So he gonna be able to vouch for you then.
Right.
All right, let me find out who your parents are and we'll get you out of here, all right?
Okay, so he went to the police of his own accord. So it's not like a great alibi because it's like I was just hanging out with my best friend studying for SATs, and your best friend could easily cover for you. So it's not like a bulletproof alibi exactly. So although it makes sense, most people spend time hanging out with like their girlfriend or their best friend or a family member. So okay, so now the police have to just find a way to corroborate the story that they were there all day. I guess they want to use the GPS footage. I think a cop was mentioning. So I guess that'd be the next step in the case.
Yep. So DeMichael told police that he and Danielle recently split up. He broke up with her. He was a senior and planned to join the Marines after graduation, and Danielle was a freshman, so he decided to cut things off. He told police that the night Danielle went missing, he spent the day and evening with his best friend, Dominic Locke. So police brought Dominic Locke in for questioning. Dominic and DeMichael were best friends. They went to the same school, had the same interests. They both wanted to go to the military together after high school.
Like at 7-something, he called me. He wanted me to come over because we had ACT testing the next day. Yes. He wanted me to come over because we had ACT testing the next day. And I asked my dad if I can go. He said, yeah.
The police needed to confirm that what DeMichael was telling them was the truth.
Right.
Which is why they interviewed him.
Well, that's why they interviewed Dominic, right? Dominic was the friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now they need to find a way to corroborate both of their stories because they could easily be lying to cover each other.
On March 18th, the police received records for DeMichael's and Danielle's cell phone records.
Yeah.
DeMichael's cell phone records indicated he was at home that night. As the investigation into Danielle's disappearance continued, DeMichael joined in on the search efforts. He assisted with volunteer searches and passed out flyers. DeMichael also joined a Facebook group dedicated to the search for Danielle. He appeared to be concerned along with the rest of the community. Investigators did not have any other physical evidence to tie DeMichael to Danielle's disappearance at that time, so they began to investigate elsewhere. Danielle's cell phone pinged near the creek that night, nearly 6 miles away off I-95. It was confirmed that Danielle had left her residence around 9:45 p.m. Her final cell phone ping occurred nearly an hour later, around 10:40 p.m. Investigators went to the area near the tower from that ping and searched for the phone, but were unable to find it at that time. On March 25th, police get more information about a former student named Derek Warren. Apparently, Derek made a pass at Danielle, and she turned him down, and he stabbed her.
What?
That's a story that they heard. Could be just a rumor.
Story that the police heard, or the story that
The police heard. The police heard rumors around the area that there was some kid by the name of Derek. He made a pass to Danielle, and then she turned him down, and he stabbed her.
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
got that part.
Yeah, not sure.
So it couldn't have been that serious of a stabbing then, because then she would have been at the hospital.
No,
and the
yeah,
hospital
that's
would
what
have
I'm
called the
saying. It was
police.
probably
must have been
over-exaggerated.
Yeah, like a stabbing.
When police investigate further, they found that Derek and Danielle were texting each other, and they had been to the creek together. If you're looking for true crime merch with a great fit and feel, look no further. Crystal Kiss has a wide selection of clothes to brighten up your wardrobe. I like to wear clothes that make a fashion statement and says something about me. Like, our true crime and chocolate design describes me very well. I love chocolate and I love watching true crime, so they go hand in hand. Our hoodies are so soft and can be paired with one of our true crime joggers to make a super comfy outfit. Our true crime t-shirts fits true to size. For a night out, throw on a pair of heels and a crop top. Whatever you're doing, Crystal Kiss has you covered. You people in the US get free shipping. You can also use discount code MURDER15, that's MURDER15, and save 15% off your entire order. Check out our wicked selection of true crime merch today at crystalkiss.com. Derek
Who,
was...
sorry?
Derek,
Derek and Danielle?
yes.
Jermichael's friend Derek was at the creek.
No.
with them.
Michael's friend is Dominic.
Dominic. Oh, sorry.
Different
Derek is the
person.
guy that made the pass at her.
Yeah,
But
Derek
she's
is another
been-
student.
She went to the creek with Derek
Yes.
that night?
Yeah. They didn't say that night, but they had been to the creek together. But
Okay.
not that night.
But they might not necessarily have been there together. They may have been there like with groups of people.
Yeah, like they were together
At the same
creek.
time. Just happened to be, okay.
Now Derek,
All right. For the popular hangout spot, it could be like 30
yeah,
kids hanging
it was
out
a
there.
local hangout spot for at that time,
It
right?
doesn't necessarily mean that she was like having an affair with him or anything.
So Derek was by the RV park where Danielle's phone last pinged. Apparently, Derek lives close to that park where her phone last pinged.
Okay.
So police bring Derek in for questioning.
The only thing I know about her, white female, black hair, blue eyes, went missing March 11th.
When you did see her in school, where'd you see her at?
Walking around in hallways. I basically said hey to her one time.
Was you infatuated with her? You kind of had like a secret crush? No?
She seemed a little too preppy.
Too probably kind of standoffish?
Yeah.
Was she standoffish to you?
She seemed like a goody-goody. And honestly, I don't hang out with the goody-goodies. Goody-goodies have a bad habit of snitching. I ain't gonna lie. I do illegal things, and I know I do.
We know where Danielle's phone was. Okay, what area her phone was. It's out there around your house. In that general area. And that was Tuesday night, 22:45, which would be 10:45. That's when it was last pinging. And it was in that area. And you just happened to be at your house by yourself from 8:30 till 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's in that time frame, at 22:45, at 10:45 time.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you, was she alive when she left that area out there around your house Tuesday night?
I have no idea. I didn't see her.
So you're saying she wasn't out there at all? She didn't come out there with some of your friends?
No.
You're positive?
Nobody came out to my house that night.
Nobody?
At all.
Nobody showed up?
Not a single soul.
You're telling me you have no knowledge whatsoever of what happened to Danielle Locklear?
No, sir.
Okay, so earlier I think you had said that Danielle and Derek had been texting each other.
Yes.
Now, were they texting each other that night?
It wasn't specific. During my research, it wasn't specific exactly when they were texting. It just said that they were texting each other.
Okay.
So they exchanged texts.
So
messages.
we still don't know if they actually came into contact that night or if the GPS suggested they came into contact that night. All we know is that her phone was in the general area of his house.
Yes.
She might have had other friends there. There could be all kinds of explanations for that part of it. So the part that's probably most interesting to the police at this point is simply the fact that they know he's lying. Because he's saying, I don't really know her. I only know what she looks like. I've seen her in school a couple of times. Yet, there's a string of text messages going back and forth, which they haven't even told him yet they know about. So I don't know if they know about that at the time of the interview, if they found that out afterwards. But so either they know that he's lying or they're about to find out that he's lying. And the story of him asking her out is obviously, like, if the story is even remotely true, like let's say they didn't stab her, but let's say he did some kind of an attack on her when she turned him down. It already shows, like, yes, he was interested in her. She rejected him. He acted angrily. He may have tried again and then gotten more angry. And what I'm thinking at this point, obviously, is that he probably killed her, although still a long way from proving anything yet. But.
Well, I find interesting, he said she's a white female. She's not a white female. Like, her mother's black. Her mother looks black, so she's probably mixed. But he said she was a white female.
Oh, is she mixed? Okay, I haven't seen her.
She's
She
mixed,
looks like,
yeah. Derek denied being at the creek when Danielle disappeared. He denied even knowing her that well. He didn't get along with law enforcement. He said he was at home that night looking on his computer for a job. So the police searched Derek's property, and they found a shovel with blood on it.
Uh-oh.
They tested it and found no evidence tying him to Danielle.
Oh, did they figure out if it was like animal blood or just we don't know what kind of blood it was?
We don't know what kind of blood it was. It just
Okay.
didn't tie him to Danielle, though.
Well, obviously it must not have been human blood or else they would have had 1,000 more questions.
Yeah, for sure. So Derek took a polygraph and passed.
Right, this doesn't mean anything.
21 days after Danielle disappeared and all leads have gone cold. Then, on April 22nd, 2014, 3 weeks after Danielle disappeared, around 5 p.m., an off-duty police officer was running and looked over to the right and saw something that didn't look right.
Yeah, I found her body.
He saw something floating in the South River along the Sampson-Cumberland County line. So he called dispatch from his phone.
Hey, dispatch, this is 113. I'm down here at the Hollow Bridge Road, just outside Orchardville. Okay. On the Cumberland County side. Is there a deputy that's close by with a pair of binoculars so I can make sure there's not a body in the water?
An evidence recovery team was called in to pull the body out of the water. The body was decomposed, and it was a female. She had no shoes on. She was wearing a shirt that the police recognized from pictures from the creek. She had an object shoved in her mouth.
Ew.
A little black and white fuzzy sock, similar to the one her mother found. There was a cinder block tied to her waist and ankles with yellow rope. The body was transported to the medical examiner. Officers reached out to Danielle's mother and told her they found a body, but they could not tell if it was Danielle.
Because it was decomposed?
It was decomposed, but they needed confirmation, right? So they needed Danielle's dental records, and they needed to swab her mother's mouth for a DNA sample. Now, if it was Danielle, the police were wondering how she ended up 15 miles from her home and the creek. So the police...
Oh, wait, so the body of water she was found in wasn't the creek she was at. This is a different body of water.
Yeah,
okay.
It was 15 miles from her home. The police scanned a map of the area for clues. And they learned that Danielle's ex-boyfriend, Jermichael Malloy, lives a mile up the road from where the body was found. The next day, they issued a search warrant for Jermichael's house. Jermichael agreed to go to the station for more questioning while his house was being searched. They found cinder blocks and yellow nylon rope. The same type of cinder blocks attached to Danielle.
This is Detective Brinkley, right?
Yes.
He has a lot of experience in handling these kind of cases.
You're saying you didn't have anything to do with that? Yes, sir. And that's the way you want this to go down? That's the way you want to be perceived?
Yes, sir.
How do you think that's going to make you look?
Unless y'all can prove it has something to do with it, which y'all are not going to be able to because it doesn't have anything to do with it, I'm going to look perfectly fine.
Well, then help me with this. Why did you fail the polygraph?
I was nervous. I'm nervous sitting here now, so I mean, they say they can like twist and I'll do something like that. But I mean, like you're saying, you think I'm a smart kid.
I do think you're a smart kid.
Why in the world would I put her down the street and around the corner?
And what if I tell you that we found the rope that she was tied up with?
And y'all found the rope?
At your house?
Shouldn't be in my house.
Why shouldn't it be?
Because it had nothing to do with it.
I want you to bear with me. Help me out here. The cinder block, the rope. She's found how far from your house? Not far at all.
Street around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the cop is telling him that he's failed the polygraph. May mean something, may not. He's nervous. We don't know what kind of questions they were asking on the polygraph that he failed exactly.
It's true.
Although maybe you can assume it's obviously has something to do with her going missing and whatever. I'm still not convinced that Derek kid didn't have anything to do with it, even though he passed his polygraph. But a lot of like criminals can pass a polygraph because they just don't give a crap about anything. So the cinder block and the rope. I mean, a lot of people have cinder blocks and rope, but I guess they're saying it's not like it's a brand new cinder block. It's like an aged cinder block, and that the one they found kind of is similar in style and like aging and stuff like that. It's definitely, this would be what you would call, I guess, what do you call a case when there's no direct evidence? Circumstantial. It's a lot of really solid circumstantial evidence at this point that they've got. Plus, failing the polygraph, which obviously is only useful to the police and not useful in court. But I'm still not 100% convinced it's him, although I am leaning that way. But yeah, I guess we'll see how the rest of this goes.
Okay. So like you said, he took a polygraph test and failed. He was very cool and collected as well. The police were sure they had the right guy, but with Jermichael's denial and alibi, it was just circumstantial evidence, like you said.
Yeah, the part that I'm most confused by is usually the kind of person that can just so easily lie to the police calmly and coolly can usually pass a polygraph.
That's true, yeah.
So the fact that he failed the polygraph but doesn't sound at all nervous or concerned about the police is the part that's got me kind of like going back and forth. And this Derek kid, Like, it's not like it's an impossible stretch that he would be like, got angry, killed her, oh crap, what do I do? And then goes, well, I can pin this on her ex-boyfriend. And maybe if he knows that guy, maybe he knows where to find stuff to frame him for it. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's not that far of a stretch.
Yeah.
Although this is all probably going to come back. It's just going to be Jermichael, and all my little speculations will be for nothing.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, so while the police were waiting for forensic results on the cinder block and rope, police deconstructed Jermichael's alibi the night Danielle disappeared. So the police wanted to bring Dominic in for more questioning, so he got a lawyer. Now, the police learned that Jermichael didn't send the text that placed him at home that night. He used a secondary text app that schedules text messages and left his phone at home.
Ah, see,
yes.
What we always say.
You always say,
if you're going to commit a crime,
exactly.
if you're going to commit a crime, either turn your phone off or leave it at home.
Leave it at home.
So, yeah.
So he's smart. He left his phone at home. But
Yeah.
he wasn't that smart, obviously. But he left his phone at home.
Well, he wasn't smart enough to know that they wouldn't be able to tell that the text came from
Exactly.
like a scheduling app.
Exactly.
Whatever. But I mean, he's smart enough to left his phone at home at the very least.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm convinced he did it.
The police also discovered Danielle's cell phone a short distance away from Jermichael's home on a highway median. Her voicemail contained a threat from him. On April 9th, 2014, investigators received a call stating that Jermichael wanted to confess. Jermichael told police that on the evening of March 11th, he and Dominic went to Danielle's house. He got Danielle's attention by throwing his wallet at her window. Minutes later, Danielle told her step-grandfather she was going to Alexa's house, when in reality, she was meeting up with Jermichael and Dominic. The three of them drove to the creek. Once there, Danielle told Jermichael she was pregnant. An argument ensued, and Jermichael demanded that she take a pregnancy test in front of him. She refused. Jermichael then said that he told Danielle if she was pregnant, he would be there for the child, but he would not be in a relationship with her. And by his account, this statement caused Danielle to flip out and hit him. Jermichael said that it caused him to snap. He explained that he grabbed Danielle and began choking her, but at some point he blacked out. Jermichael said that when he came to, Danielle was not breathing. He then asked Dominic, who was standing approximately 70 yards away, to help him dispose of Danielle's body. The two of them dragged Danielle to the car and placed her in the trunk. As they were driving towards Jermichael's home, Danielle began making noise. Jermichael's...
Oh my God, she wasn't dead.
Jermichael...
So then they killed her for real. Oh my God.
Jermichael said that Dominic stuffed her sock in her mouth to make the noise stop.
Ugh.
Once they got to Jermichael's house, they tied the cinder block to Danielle and threw her body in the river.
So she probably drowned in the river.
In your own words, tell me what happened.
Try to speak up a little bit.
It was a Tuesday night, and we went to the creek. And we sat down and talked for a while. We had been off and on for months, and she was supposed to take a pregnancy test in front of me. And the whole time I was like, take it for me. Take it. You should prove it to me right now. She said, fine, I will. I told her, no matter if you have this kid or not, I'm going to take care of my responsibilities. If it's mine, it's mine. I'm going to do what I got to do to step up and be a man. But I don't want to be with you at all. And she flipped.
Okay.
And she was cursing me out, still being mean to me. And I'm just trying to shove it off. She hit me, started fighting, grabbed her around the neck. Next thing I knew, she wasn't breathing.
When you grabbed her around the neck, what did you do when you grabbed her around the neck? Because you know, listen, she don't just stop breathing.
I blacked out. That's all I remember.
What were you doing around the neck?
I was choking her.
All right, when you guys got there, tell me what happened once you got there.
Pulled her out, picked her up, dumped her.
Dominic confirmed to police that he helped Jermichael dispose of Danielle's body. He said he was in shock when Jermichael told him that he had killed her. Dominic explained that Jermichael said they both go to jail for murder if he did not help get rid of the body. The day after Jermichael's confession, the autopsy report confirmed the body found in the river was Danielle Locklear. Cause of death was asphyxiation by strangulation, and Danielle was not pregnant.
Oh. She was lying about being pregnant to try and get him to stay with her.
He killed her for no reason. She wasn't pregnant.
Well, he didn't kill her because she was pregnant.
That's probably part of his motive. That's probably, I don't know. Maybe not. But I mean, he probably was freaked out. Like, oh my gosh, I want to go to the military. You know, I don't want to have this. I don't want to have this baby.
Well, he could have still done all that. Like, I think that it was an emotional conversation. She probably did. She lied about being pregnant to get him to stay. He said, "I'm not going to be with you no matter what." She probably got angry. She probably slapped him. You know.
Yes.
And then he probably got. That's probably when he just got pissed off, and obviously, to say overreacted is putting it lightly, but obviously he did whatever. He snapped and killed her. The friend might be lucky in this case then. Because if she actually died from the asphyxiation, that sound that she was making when they put the sock in her mouth was just some kind of a death rattle or something like that. The friends, I don't think because they weren't in the commission of a crime up until Jermichael killed her.
But he helped Michael get rid of the body.
Well, after the case.
Yeah.
But there's a difference. The difference is, like you say you're committing a robbery and somebody gets killed in the commission of robbery, everybody involved in the robbery is guilty of that murder as well. At least in some places. I don't know if that's true in Canada, but I know it's true in the States. But what I'm saying is there was no crime being committed until Jermichael started to strangle her. Well, maybe you could say when she struck him it was assault, assuming that's true. We don't know if it's true. But we do know that he strangled her to death. So at that point, that's when a crime started, and Dominic was at a distance from it. Now, you could ask, I guess, why he didn't step in to try and stop it, or maybe he did and it was too late, or maybe they went there to kill him in the first place. But I guess we don't know that either. But the point being, Jermichael kills her from the strangulation. The friend might not be guilty of murder at this point then. He's guilty of covering it up and impeding the investigation. I forget the charges they're actually called. But I was going to say, because if he helped to cover it up, stuffed the sock in her mouth, they dumped her in the water. If she had died from drowning, now they're both guilty of murder. But I think the friend might be getting lucky in this case.
We'll see. So the police think it was planned, which is what I said before. I don't know. Maybe it was a crime of passion. Who knows? But
it sounds like a crime of passion. Like, if they were planning it, they would have had something there.
But why
to kill her and then stuff her into a trunk and then drive over here, get some stuff, drive back over there. It sounds like people panicking.
But why leave his phone at home then? Why leave his phone at home? Why meet her in the middle of the night?
I forgot about the phone.
He left his phone at home, and he met her in the middle of the night.
He left the phone at home and put the messaging app to send a
text.
Yes,
I think it was planned.
To send a text later. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it was planned. I think he was freaking out because she was pregnant and everything.
That's a fair point. Yeah, so that does make you believe it was premeditated, which could then be first degree murder for both of them. Because if it was planned, then that means that they were conspiring to commit murder, and now they're both tied to the crime. Yeah.
Yep. In May 2016, Jermichael pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 25 to 31 years in prison.
I guess, yeah, so they agreed because they're probably like, we don't know if we're going to get him for first degree anyways, but we'll definitely get him for second degree, so makes sense to... That kind of makes sense why they would both sides would want to choose that option.
Dominic Locke pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact, the first-degree murder, and was sentenced to 6 to 8 years in prison.
Accessory to the fact for first-degree murder?
Yeah. Maybe he stuck the sock down her throat?
No, that was after the case. First-degree murder means that you were planning it ahead of time. Like, second-degree murder is like, I snapped and I killed somebody. First-degree murder is, I want to kill this person, here's how I'm going to do it, I need your help, we're going to buy this and that. Like, it's not a crime of passion. Like, first-degree murder means that you're planning it out ahead of time.
Yeah.
Second degree is like a crime of passion kind of thing. And like manslaughter is like when you kill somebody but it was unintentional.
So why did they get him for first-degree murder then?
Well, they probably couldn't really put first-degree murder on Jermichael, so they agreed to second degree, and that made sense to him to agree to that one. The first degree one and the other one, that was probably just what they were able to get him to agree to.
Yeah.
You know, maybe accessory to second degree murder, was it accessory after the fact?
Accessory after the fact.
So like accessory after the fact to second degree murder might be like, don't know, 4 years in jail. Whereas first degree might be 8 years in jail. They might just not have been willing to accept anything like under a certain amount of time.
Okay,
So they may have just said, we're going to stick to our guns, we're willing to go to court. And he said, deal with it, I'd rather... Or maybe they threatened him with like a bunch of other charges if he didn't plead to that one, so he just took it because he didn't want to get charged with all kinds of other... like somebody will kill somebody with a gun, and they'll go, okay, you're guilty of first-degree murder and possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition. And so they tack on all these other ancillary charges to make it longer. So they may have said, we'll waive all those if you'll agree to first-degree... What was it called again?
First-degree murder, accessory after the fact to first-degree murder.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's what they negotiated to.
So according to prison records, currently... Jamichael Malloy is incarcerated at the Birdie Correctional Institution in Windsor, North Carolina. And that's it. And this case really hit me too because, we have a 15-year-old who has a boyfriend. We have a 16-year-old who, doesn't have a boyfriend anymore, but she did have a boyfriend. So, it just goes to show this is like a parent's worst nightmare. Like you have to even though they date a boy who comes off as this sweet, innocent, great boy who goes to church, you just never know somebody. You never know.
Well, right? Anybody can walk into a church. Church is just a building with a door on it. Anybody can just walk in there. It doesn't mean
I know.
anything.
I'm just saying, speaking from a mom's point of view, it's crazy, right? So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for the case. Thank you so much for listening. Again, we mean no disrespect. All the information we gathered from the case is included in the show notes. I have the sources in the show notes. And for everybody out there who knew Danielle Locklear, we're very sorry for your loss. Just want to mention before we go as well, we do have a store called Crystal Kiss. Check it out for your true crime merch. And we also have a Patreon.
Yeah, check it out. We get a second episode that we post up there for our Patreon members. So if you join our Patreon, you'll get a second episode every week. Join our Patreon and you can get the second episode of the week there. We love all our Patreon members, so go check it out for extra content.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.